It is actually, so that's good. YouTube, are you working also or YouTube? Yeah, okay. Here, what? Inactive? What are you saying? Okay, true. Let me start this thing then. Good. What the fuck? There is almost like no delay between what I read and what's happening on YouTube. What? I think, wait, actually, we, we have more delay on what? How is there more delay on Twitch than on YouTube? Wow, amazing! I didn't realize that. There are like it's what timer? What 22? There are like only 3 seconds or so of delay on YouTube, and on Twitch there are like 5 6 seconds. What? Amazing! Amazing! I didn't actually know that. Ah, okay. Anyways, besides that, let me actually Discord. Yeah. Copy. Yeah. Paste. Yeah. Can't I move this thing over here? Yeah, okay, I can. There we go. Can do that. Let me. Here. How is the microphone volume actually, man? Uh, I still to actually check how that thing is doing. Do no, okay. I can check that manually then. Oh yeah. Let me mute this thing. Wait, what? Why did he open it? Ah, I guess I wait, yeah, I, I used the, I pasted this link last, so yeah, makes sense. Can happen, can very much happen. So we have that, we have this, everything's in place, I guess. Then. For today, uh, what is something that I always forget? It's crazy. I don't really know. I don't think. Briefly, rock selling going down. That's my thought. I was saying, I don't think basically that there is any all that important thing, let's say, I don't know, maybe, to try to win something up. So it's crazy to realize that I consistently forget out stuff. How it can happen. It don't matter. Let me open this thing here. Ooh, how do you say the name of this company actually? Okay, we have this. Oh yes, here. It's slowly appearing the fade in effect of the music. It's so uh, I don't have this thing, right? Let me see. I don't even know which character that is that has that. I am checking. I like the idea of continuing the exact same challenge. I don't really like the idea of not being capable at all of gaining anything, so yeah. Which one is handy? Ah, the machine. I don't have the machine. Find the robot janitor. Amazing. I don't have the robot janitor unlocked for some reason. Yeah, I don't have it. What do we say, Wiki? How do I unlock this thing? What? Unlock by default? What are you talking about? What? Excuse me. Ah, skins. Okay. So, how do I actually unlocking? Can be found in the final stage in a broken gray container. The container is in a set location for each variant, with both locations being on the left side of the map. Understand now? So we have like two goals actually. Then good. That's anything else actually, like do you have this item unlocked? I think I don't have it. I think I minimally understand what I need. But I don't have most of the stuff that I don't have most of the stuff unlocked itself. Use a health shrine that drops you below 5% health. Yeah, I don't have this item either anyways. Can happen. Most of the things can have that nature. Anyway, we are... It's gonna be heavy, but yeah, we're gonna be trying the same thing as before. No other change whatsoever. Still in the same line. This is crazy, actually. Critical strikes. Defeat the ancient wisp. Who? Which one is the... Excuse me? Defeat an ancient wisp. Ah, this guy. Okay, I know. I know what I have to do then. Interesting. Are we actually playing for unlocks? No, right? So... Doesn't matter, I guess. Also, I saw an item that I should probably get for a certain reason. Perhaps. Okay, no, I think we're good. I think we're good. Cannot really do much more. Also, yeah, I did, once again, I am amazing. I did forget to set up one thing more. So actually, before starting, give me a second. It can happen. It shouldn't happen. But it can and it will keep happening. Like, life is full of those things that you believe should know in no way, in no manner, with no reason whatsoever, be occurring. Yet, what you encounter once you actually go out there is, wow, so many things happen that I expected wouldn't at all. So much of what I see goes on without me ever expecting any of those things. Life is full not just of surprises, but also of, to some degree, warranted things, you know? Anyway. Where are we? Let me switch scenes. Hello. I said before, we're going to continue this thing. Basically, what is this thing? Quick enough explanation at the beginning. Single player. Character, Jeff. These are the skills. Dice, 0. Glaze, second helping. I could utilize cook. I don't like cook actually. This thing, more damage, because for some reason that doesn't affect any of the unlocks, so yeah, we're not changing that particularly. 3 artifacts. Enemies as elite. Items are no longer random. Chests no longer respawn. Anything else? Dissonance? I don't know if I actually want that. And no, okay, whatever. Basically, everything else is fine. The point is trying to actually win one run. I don't even know at this point. Sometimes the eternal aspect of, at some point I decided something and I have now run out of an explanation as to why this is the case. Okay, I have literally no clue why we are doing this. Like, I know that we are doing this in terms of, yeah, I want to make this happen, but I don't remember why I said I wanted to win a run like this. I think that it's just pure stubbornness at this point, but it's 10 times better than nothing, I feel like, really. It's quite a huge possibility to actually have nothing be, nothing exist, nothing happen, but that might not actually be the best thing in itself. It isn't really that great to let the... Holy shit, I almost died already. Let the absolute nothingness become so predominant in existence. Okay, I already died. This is... yeah, that was... that was definitely not your fault. Yeah, this is going to be a long night. Yet another incredibly long night. But we have to do it. Sometimes, I don't know, this has been so far a month of so many challenges. Not even like, yeah, you know, there is something to gain from doing things. Simply the desire to try to see what happens once finally stuff like that is done, in terms of maybe it's good to attempt things, to be willing to try something out, even if you don't fully feel like you might have the highest chance of the best odds as dealing with whatever it is, even if you don't encounter, even if you don't have that sensation within you. I entirely believe it is much better to say, yeah, we have to try anyways, than to simply accept that, yeah, this is hard, therefore we shall not try. I don't think that is in any one way meaningful. So yeah, we are going to be here stuck for God long knows how long actually, until it finally works out, and once it does, things are gonna be great. But until then, misery all over the place. There is no other sentiment to identify than to refer to it as that very same misery which permeates so much of existence, every single instance. The encounter with the impossibilities which leads the person to be filled with that very same nothingness that gives such a obscure impression, that makes it look like it truly is non-attainable in some manner, so yeah. We're gonna be trying to win, but I don't think. I don't believe it's going to happen so rapidly, so quickly. It's at some point it's going to be the case, but it'll take however long it's going to take, and we are fine with that. We came here to not to win actually, so that's quite a crazy consideration. That yeah, who knows how much we will be doing it until it finally works out, quote unquote. But yeah, that's the, I don't know, explanation. It's not really an explanation even. It's just the saying itself of yeah. The goal is very simple in nature. The point is trying to accomplish it. The thing that matters, and seeing how many attempts, I don't think so also. I don't. We are not here even to count them. It's just that yeah, it will happen. That it will take many attempts, but it could have happened. We come here accepting that it can very much be the case, that perhaps we need to dedicate multiple hours, multiple attempts until it needs no more trial. And once that happens also, the continuous proceeding, the celebration that thing in itself brings forward as a result gets to be even greater. Not only because it comes with the meaning, with the reality of yeah, luckily enough, we knew what was coming our way, so nothing to do with what hit me. Electricity. We knew what was coming. We cannot say that it happened entirely for no reason. Sometimes, sadly, life is filled with those unexpected, life-altering events themselves, but in this case there is nothing like that. There are only situations which have been already remitted as possible from the beginning, so in having that be the satisfaction of knowing that all the arising sensations lie within the person itself, make the process itself much easier, let's say, yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. It shall take as long as it shall take, and once we're done, we will get to say that it has finally finished. But yeah, anyways, I don't know. I said, I am trying to some degree. I am not entirely willing to believe that yeah, we are going to actually have an easy run in terms of. I don't feel like the game is really that forgiving of us suddenly. So, if anything, we're gonna be trying to win, but it might surely not happen. And it's fine, it can be the case. It can so naturally happen like that yeah, it gets to be whatever. Also, it's actually not that bad so far. Not that bad. Not entirely great, but not that bad either. Okay. No, actually great. Sufficient enough for me to not feel like this one is doomed from the very beginning at least. But one item can change so much. One bad drop is enough sometimes to already feel like it might not actually be that good. And we are fine with that anyways. it was not entirely anticipated, but not entirely also unexpected. Sadly, at this point, I guess, yeah, so many instances of the very same desire leads to the realization that, yeah, it's quite hard to actually gain such a thing. So it might as well have to take this long or even more. It might as well require that much and much more even so it's the point is to minimally win at some point, and that's enough of a satisfaction. Yeah. Yeah. Besides that, today hasn't been filled with much, actually. Today, not intentionally, entirely, but it's been a very calm day. Something that to some degree I like, to some other degree I don't really enjoy that much. The whole aspect of doing... What the hell do I actually need? This armor? I think this armor isn't really that great, actually. There are many better red items to have gotten anyway. It's out getting to do something with what we have in our hands, not the whole anger of not having gotten anything else. But yeah, I was saying, the whole aspect of getting to do so much work, in terms of, okay, work itself has some connotations that aren't entirely accurate with what I'm trying to say myself. So yeah, doing enough things that you should be working on, you should be trying, you should be prioritizing and whatnot, to the point to which you get to not worry about later on requiring to yourself then deal with those very same matters, because the whole anticipation and the whole capacity to get rid of their existence from the very beginning is, so to speak, not just, okay, there is a concept of liberating in terms of, yeah, this calms me, but also the more appropriate notion of, this, more than anything else, this simply is freeing of my own time. It lets me not have to anymore think out this thing. Having that happen is great to some degree. I like it for the simple reason, unavoidably, like universal realization of, wow, I manage some things that otherwise I am not forced to manage, let's say like that, and because I choose to do it, I can then possess more free time to actually do other things that I find myself far more willing to do. Okay, in doing that, there is a not entirely great aspect for me. I think it is to some degree, yeah, to some degree I have heard enough people talk about it as if it wasn't really that well, that maybe it is really great. I just haven't found out how to actually think about it as such, but yeah, the whole realization, the whole reality of you get very much to not worry, not have in mind, not have to think anymore about this while it is also happening. Like, if you get to do some job that you had to do while you are at your job, that whole aspect of, I make sure that I deal with my job before it actually gets shown to me or forced onto me in terms of, yeah, you now employee have to work on that. While that happens, there are some that I feel like unavoidably enjoy the aspect of, I have gotten to deal with that, so I have free time to do many more things now. Yeah, I don't I don't really enjoy the aspect of, or no, not the aspect of dealing with things and getting to have free time. I think it's great, but the whole reality of rather you get to deal with something and what you get to deal with doesn't truly carry that much of an advantage, that much of a meaning, that much of anything actually. It just possesses or frees you from a responsibility while you still possess another overarching, even more important responsibility to still attend to. Like, for example, you can, in the very same reasoning of the SOV and whatnot, if you get to actually do your SOV before it actually is forced onto you, you have now the possibility of simply sitting there at your desk, but you're still in your SOV, you know what I mean? Like, it's not that much of a crazy idea in itself that, wow, I am now freed from this thing, but I'm not truly entirely freed. I don't have to deal with the tinier, smaller responsibility, but I still have to do something. I still have to be there and whatnot. It's not like, okay, you cannot take a day off simply because you got to do what you do in your soul better. Basically, the whole, I guess, eternal issue that many people show when it comes to all of this, that yeah, I am working, I am a good worker to some degree even, but it doesn't really leave too much in itself. Like, what do I actually gain because I'm a good worker if my work doesn't disappear because I did it? If my work doesn't really get in any way diminished because of that, or my work itself might as well truly not be that intense anymore, but I still have to do the more annoying aspect of I have to show up and I have to act like I care and like this truly is important to me and this is something that I am highly invested on, when I am not, when that part isn't really present on me. And that's what I really feel like is bad in a way. Not in all senses of the word, but yeah, in a way it's quite well for me at least, yeah. And I don't know, it's acceptable enough to the point to which you see, wait, many cases of this happens and nobody has really anything to say about that. Because it doesn't truly have to always represent a problem also, the whole, to some degree, true aspect of, yeah, it isn't bad enough to actually require that much of an attention sometimes, but once it becomes normal enough, like recurrent enough as a problem, isn't that the point in which we should be trying to fix the rate of it occurring at all? Like, shouldn't we at that point be willing to say, okay, how can then we make sure that this stops being the case? Because if it is the case, and if this happens so much, how can we simply get rid of all of that? And I don't know, I quite dislike it actually. There are many cheat ways offered throughout most processes that try to aim at the dissolution of this very same issue in one way or another, not entirely being the case, like, we won't know that you aren't truly allowing me to skip so much, but the present minimally operational solutions possess enough of a character to make it look like it actually is freeing enough, and we get contented enough with that, while sometimes it really isn't the case that, once again, it changes anything suddenly. And I find that it actually is quite annoying to have that happen. Also, these enemies are I almost killed one of them already, no? Well, yeah, I almost died myself also, like, amazing. Amazing. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, we're good enough. Actually, we are not really that bad in one way or another. The only issue is I don't really know exactly what to do yet. Anyways, I feel like okay, I can give you this much after trying this hard. Perhaps you I have overestimated how unavoidably, besides the aspect that actually of yeah, this is much easier than what we could actually expect. Yeah, besides that basic notion, there is also the degree of I feel like you can easily overestimate how overpowered some items are, or how in themselves they get to change everything, so to speak. Like, yeah, this makes all things much, much faster, much quicker, much this or that, and sadly, because that doesn't happen, you end up with a lot more troubles to try to deal with and whatnot, and that's quite rough actually. But I don't know. Like I said, we're here to try, so we shall keep trying. When it finally stops being a problem, once we actually get to deal with all of this, it's the only thing that we'll get to have then is the celebration that comes with having passed through this. So that's amazing. Until then, only the necessity to keep trying as much as we can to make sure that at least the quote-unquote odds are stacked in our favor, quote-unquote. Who truly knows if they aren't all that much. Also, I don't know, I feel like unavoidably to some degree. The items are interesting, but I have still to also myself understand in much more depth all of the relevant things that come with using this or that. I feel like there are some choices that I feel like I have made already that were so much less impactful. Like, okay, while on one hand I said you can easily believe that items are incredibly overpowered, on the other hand you also have the reality of you want quite honestly to also look things as if they possessed not just in the realm of overpoweredness, but rather in the vision of this thing for sure will guarantee something, will make this become entirely winnable. For example, when I feel like on a world at this point, I don't think so anymore. I believe I don't get to have that sensation anymore. Actually, I guess there are no true or pure run-breaking items. There are I feel like to some degree that's actually weird. In Risk of Rain 2, you actually do have stuff that changes everything enough to actually be all that more important in terms of yeah, if you have this thing in your items, if you can buy or even more, unavoidably it has been a staple of the what are the augments or whatever that they're called? The run modifiers, basically. The one that lets you choose items and whatnot, no? With that thing, it means that you can guarantee winning runs as long as you get enough items of X quality, of X being a certain unknown or a specific quality in terms of yeah. If I can guarantee obtaining this thing, then that means that I will guarantee winning. I believe that it can to some degree operate like that, but I don't know, I'm not entirely sure. At this point, I'm not entirely sure anymore. I don't wanna say, perhaps I feel like perhaps here it doesn't have that benefit anymore. You can not think like, yeah, you can fool yourself. It's true that it happens in normal mode. Some things are that influential, like some things possess that much of an importance to truly make it define by themselves a run. But here it doesn't seem to be the case. There appears to exist no entirely influential thing like that. So that's quite difficult to entirely accept this. But it is still doesn't really acceptable, not like, no, because this doesn't get to be, no, my life is over. I guess it's just finally making sense out of all the other aspects too. The assumptions that propelled this quote-unquote, like in 1,000 quotes, adventure to begin, slowly crumbled away. No more there is a belief that, yeah, now this is... We need only this handful of things. Perhaps, yeah, there are win conditions, like in any given game, there are win conditions always, but the particular win conditions here don't really seem to be based around one or two things, but rather multiple conditions in themselves, like, yeah, a lot of things have to actually happen for this to go right. And that's quite hard to actually understand. Or, not, it's difficult to understand, it's difficult to accept as such. You can understand it, but it is still by default the same game. How come now it really doesn't have that benefit of actually being doable anymore? What's changed that much to actually lose all that quality and similar, you know? Like, what went on? Okay. Yeah. How much I hate the wisps. But in the end, it is still out. Enough trial and error until things just fall right into place. And once that happens, everything will be great again, yes. Yeah. But yeah, besides all of that, and I don't know, I started this, or not exactly started, I said that, yeah, one of the many things that did get to happen was the relaxation that came with so much nothingness itself. Yeah, I don't know, my aim was that truly, I don't know how great it actually is. To some degree, I really feel like it's all that amazing, all that beneficial, all that acceptable to have nothing happen. Some days it's quite sad to see how much of it's not in the appropriate context, you know, unavoidably, but life life itself, not like, yeah, under these conditions and whatnot. No. Life feels incredibly bureaucratic, so to speak, and that's strange, actually. I wasn't as willing to bring out that relief that it was the case before. Like, if you were to come across my older self, let's say, my younger self, actually, I wouldn't have believed that made any sense at all. How come life is so bureaucratic? In which way? It doesn't really feel like that. Why would you say that then? No? But now, it actually does have that sensation. So many things that seem to simply exist for the sake of, yeah, you know what, today we will have this entirely meaningless thing happen, simply because we have gotten accustomed to having it be present, and Therefore, we will make sure that we all have to go through. Today, we are going to all of us part, yeah, all of us are going to be participating in something that has no true meaning, gives us nothing. Like, there is something always important with rites and the mythology of cultures and whatnot, in terms of the particular aspect of getting to accept that, yeah, things in themselves get to be full of important aspects simply because once we get to actually deal with enough rights and whatnot, we actually give a lot more coherency to what we go through ourselves, no? And that is in itself reasonable. Like, I don't think we require that many explanations as to why that might be the case. It feels, once you understand what goes on within any kind of ritual, you can very much understand intuitively why then it gets performed. The whole aspect of it justifies many more things that happen in life. It justifies and makes many more other aspects feel more natural, more correct to do, so to speak, even if unavoidably, like, from my culture I look at yours and I feel like it doesn't entirely feel that justified. What happens here or what goes on there doesn't have that entire sensation of being absolutely correct to participate on and whatnot. Even if all of that is the case, there is still a lot that has to do with it, but luckily enough, we do get many instances of also, I'm out to die, simply because there are too many electrical enemies. Can happen. Can entirely happen. Okay, I was saying basically that, yeah, the whole process of so many things being enforced by the norm, by what is then called, yeah, the regular stuff and the expected events and whatnot, then that brings forward quite a huge sentiment of, unavoidably, this doesn't, in itself, it's not truly justified, but at least it gives some semblance of coherence to life, no? It makes all the other things that happen, that transpire in life, basically have a lot more understandability, simply because we all can agree that this is in one way or another fine, so we don't have any more to worry about what happens, because the rights themselves give that coherence implicitly, so to speak. No, sorry, explicitly, like, which one is it actually? Implicit, no? Yeah. It is implied, yeah. Implicitly, you can grasp that things seem to possess this reason, this meaning, this explanation, whatnot, and even if it isn't entirely coherent, at least we all are willing enough to agree with that given explanation to the degree to which, therefore, it gets instilled, planted, made the quote-unquote de facto explanation for why this happens. And that makes it acceptable for everyone. Okay, why does this matter? Because even if that can be the case, I feel like unavoidably so many of the current rituals that we hold nowadays don't come from that same sense of, yeah, they all are serving us in one way or another, even if we cannot entirely see it. I feel like there are so many things that nowadays occur without or desire at all. I don't think it is that crazy to say in terms of, yeah. There are so many aspects that you can hear from other people. There are so many things that you can see we have to do, we must participate in, once again, what I said before, simply. The whole aspect of, yeah, I have still to show up at my work. And if I already did all of it, I literally am there just to fill in an empty chair. I have no role, no meaning being there in itself, besides that other explanation of, yeah, unavoidably, you are present. But that isn't really that important, you know? We both know that it doesn't truly matter all that much. We both know that it doesn't really make or change or present anything of true substance. It does occur that I am there, it does occur that I get to be there, like, wow, such an amazing thing, but it doesn't... If I wasn't there, the world wouldn't be over, simply. It's not like the ritual is my presence, because then we all get to be appeased or something like that. There is no real... The ritual has no more been created, been defined by what we saw as necessary. It rather gets dictated by a handful of things which the communalities don't truly agree on, don't truly care about to begin with, like... Continuing on that same line, I don't think that many people can now say, yeah, I am absolutely agreeing with the whole idea of having to be there if I am doing nothing. Why would I be there? Why do I have to show up if I participate in no way whatsoever? What's the actual point of doing that, you know? And all of it is so normal at this point that yeah, it almost feels like it truly serves no purpose. There is still a deeper layer of meaning of, perhaps, once you think about it, it's still working to keep us in line, so to speak. The more corporate explanation of unavoidably, because we all are obedient workers, we get to understand that our roles can be, at any point in time, actually removed, and we are pawns in a bigger chess game from which we are no commanders but simply participants by the merit of our very own existence and nothing else. So, great enough, but that doesn't really make me feel any greater, any better, any good in itself. I don't think that my morale finds itself increased because you are telling me now that, yeah, did you know? You are yet another cog in the machine. What? Do you think it helps me in any way to hear that? Actually, do you think it satisfies me in any sense to have to hear you say that? I am entirely sure that that's not the case. Do you truly feel like that's going to happen? That if you reveal to me how this is so, you help me in any manner? Actually, you truly think so? Because I am quite certainly sure that it doesn't. But, who knows? Maybe I am just not capable of seeing it in the quote-unquote proper light, you know? Maybe. Let me just deal with this worm. Can I actually deal with the worm? Or am I going to die? I feel like I'm going to die, yeah. I need some form of healing, man. I need actually to not be so unlucky. I feel like, unavoidably, so much winning relies on luck. not getting to a boss fight with only 3 or 4 items is right, unless it is the only boss which I can handle entirely easily, because there is only one boss that is easy to deal with, and against that one I could probably win even if I had no items, but because literally everything's out of randomness, who knows how many attempts it takes until that one guy is guaranteed, so we will still keep trying it. At some point it will happen, and... But yeah, I was saying, and I don't know, I feel like on Waterly, it always has that strange sensation to it that, yeah, this is enforced, this is the case, not really because we want it or anything like that, but rather because we have gotten accustomed to it ourselves, and we believe that it is all that necessary, so to speak, no? And it has no other true importance actually, but who are we to actually get rid of it? What don't we have so much to lose? If we decide, if we talk about it as not being important anymore, and with that idea, we get demoralized enough to never even attempt to remove those very same, still absolutely negative things. In the end, not because you can rationalize something that makes the thing in itself great, you can just have a more quote-unquote healthy approach to the problem, which in reality just means that you stop having you yourself so much of an effect by what can still be a problematic situation. And because this happens, then we see that maybe we are not gaining that much by thinking out the stuff in that light, but we still do so. It's better to believe that things matter like that than to say, oh yeah, you know what, we have to try to change something, we have to try to alter something. And because more than anything else, altering the world in that sense is so difficult, no, we don't truly get the benefit of getting rid of those problematic aspects of reality so quickly at the very least, sadly so. Such is life, I guess, but the whole aspect of at least is it's ours, so we don't get to feel bad, because the sensation of control is much more important than having a good life sometimes. So something about miseries that I can choose that can give me feeling like it was all more meaningful, what it truly was at all, because I got to choose that misery itself. It wasn't imposed on me. What's the eternal expression of it's better than that thing which I already know than what I have yet to know, what I have yet to encounter and whatnot. Even if there is no true gain in doing that sometimes. Also, red item? What the fuck? So early in the run? Amazing. This might actually be a good one. Amazing. Who could have thought about that? But well, what do we have? We have like 5 things so far, so 6 actually. And sadly, I was looking for anything else, like an item, something, anything actually, and got nothing, so it seems to be over. We do have to go towards the boss and nothing else. then. But wait. Fuck. The only problem is the list. What is it called? Hit list or something like that? Makes it feel like such a rush to actually kill all the monsters. When sometimes it really isn't that important, suddenly. Well, but well. We can miss a handful of them. Anyways, no? Supposedly. And yeah, in what I was saying, basically. And I don't know, I feel like oddly so much of those very same situations present themselves under that very same light of, oh yeah, it matters to try to do something and whatnot, but in the end it is still quite difficult to change anything if most of us feel like it isn't really necessary. Not like we shall try to wake up. The modern person lives in an oppressed system, not entirely like that, but unavoidably. Wouldn't conditions be much greater? If I think it can easily be categorized as unnecessary suffering, no? Is it actually useful to be so filled with, I have to do these things, I have to go through these aspects of life, I have to participate in all of these meaningless endeavors and whatnot? Does that actually increase inequality? Like, I remember an explanation I heard some time ago about the simple nature of simply because you can learn to sit down and enjoy what goes around doesn't mean that you are willing to do so every single time. Not because you can do something means that you are willing to always be doing that thing in itself, you know, like you're not such an automatic machine. Can I? Oh my god. I feel absolutely threatened by everything right now, actually. No! Fuck! Man! Did you see that? Did you get a glimpse of that? Those were two reds on the first zone. Can't happen. We had better runs and we still lost them anyways, no? Supposedly. No? Is the end fair? It's not the real question. Is the player good enough to win against unfair odds? That's the real matter. Ay. What a game, brother. What an amazing video game sometimes. But well, it was what it was. You win some, you lose some, or something like that, I guess. Yeah, okay. I was saying basically. And I don't know, the whole aspect of, there are so many things that seem to serve the purpose of simply training you for civil life. I don't think that I am trying to ditch civilization in any manner. I simply find myself annoyed by the reality of so many things that I have to do, that we are all willing to participate on, seem to serve no true, for us, an actual purpose. They do exist under the wider concept of, once again, you play your role well enough within the state or within the system, but how much of the system actually matters for me and what's not? Like, I don't feel like I think about that every single day, you know? System as a notion doesn't keep me awake at night. It doesn't. There is a saying, there is an incredibly important saying actually of when it comes down to the analysis of the person and its conditions, what has to do with culture, what has to do with that whole conversation, an eternal discussion of what came first or what comes first, the culture or the person or the individual. Both are in an eternal process of dictating one another. So, isn't it much better for me as a person to be capable of participating actively with an actual desire in what I do, in what I see, in what I go through? What do I actually gain the moment in which I force myself to sit down and have so much dissatisfactory things happening to me? How many of those things play any significant role in the rest of my life then, if I let them be such? Because in the end, it does feel like, yeah, it doesn't matter at all. But that doesn't matter, it doesn't feel like, yeah, it's great that it doesn't matter. It just feels like it doesn't matter because it cannot have a sense of importance. It cannot have a sense of actual, true value. And we are in the desire to... It's weird, I don't know if I entirely agree with the idea, but... in the desire to play out a civilized adult life, so many of the things that I do, that I sit down through, that I let happen to me, around me, with my influence even sometimes, without has that quality of, yeah, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't truly have an importance in itself. I just do them, I just let them be, because we are like accustomed to them being such, nothing else. Not because they are necessary, not because they give us anything, simply because, yeah, we have all participated in this for long enough, so that they don't really need anything else now, no? Supposedly, so. So much of the nuances of life lose its meaning in something that I think on a word at least bad. Isn't it nice to be capable of explaining things? Isn't it nice to be capable of grasping from a proper, more distant view things that we care about and such, so that we can stay engaged, interested, willing to participate and whatnot? How come it actually gets called good that, yeah, what makes up most of the current life has no quality that we ever wanted? It's the promise. I don't think it is so much of a promise. It's quote unquote true, no? So much of the freedom that we get to taste nowadays is such, but this very same freedom gets called such as if it was all that liberating, all that freeing, all that life-changing in some way or another, when it doesn't truly have that sensation on it. It doesn't truly constitute that much of a change, so to speak, like, yeah, everything that we wished for gets now to be such. What? I don't feel like that happens at all. I don't feel like that gets to be the case at all to begin with. Are we truly going to act like it has that much of an importance? That I play well enough the social game in that sense? Really? no one really in itself seems to be that willing to do it. Like, we don't come here and sit down and all act out our places in life with such gracefulness, with such amazingness that it feels all justified. We do so more than anything else out of the eternal struggle that is to know that if you don't, there are many things to end up paying for, no? Inevitably, things that have to happen, things that have to be of this quality, when ignored, when allowed to not exist as such, influence us negatively. So we want to have their existence be present in our life and whatnot, no? Yeah. But it doesn't make them any greater. Submission through fear doesn't make the feared object any greater, so to speak, basically. It just gives all of us even more reasons to remain fearing, but not much else, really. And I don't know, I feel like I still... Such things, such current times, thanks to that, get to not have as much of an enjoyable qualities, simply because of that, unavoidably. If much of what I have to do needs to pass through that filter, I am forced to participate, to let many things be, even if I myself don't really care, don't really have any interest on them. Okay, what do we fight with? Finally, a fight that I can actually win. Who could have said so? Something to be thankful for, I guess. Also, why so many literal huge enemies? With such large HP bars, man. Also, not even a healing item. Amazing. Okay. Can I heal a little bit? Yes. I shouldn't have even tried, actually. Okay, no, it didn't go that well. So good. Yeah. Who's healing? One tiny enemy killing an entire boss. Amazing. Also, can that guy keep it spawning more enemies? Yeah. What if I have used that? Can I have used that to begin with, or is that like forbidden? Or probably more than forbidden actually patched in terms of yeah. The game knows that you're going to probably try to use that, so it won't let the boss spawn countless smaller enemies. Yeah, anyways. Okay. We're going to play. It's the hit list. It is the rare item always, I guess. Besides that, I think this is much better than any other item actually. But well, also, yeah, let me highlight. I haven't drunk anything so far, and Let me actually pause, just in case, I guess. Sadly, the timer in this game does matter enough to actually deserve a pausing. You cannot really take that many breaks, I guess, without pausing, so to speak. So yeah, can happen, can be the case. But it's good, it's good. It gets to be it also. Anyways. And yeah, I was saying, basically. And I don't know, I feel like when I avoid only so many things that go through that very same filter of, yeah, they're all willing to participate in them, not because they matter, but simply because we want to deal with the issue that is not having them exist. Brings forward. Lets us, in one sense or another, feel satisfied with what goes on. Again, not thanks to its degrees of effect or usefulness, but rather just because we got accustomed to letting them be whatever they got to be without any other layer of importance after that. And I feel like when that happens, in a sense of it doesn't really have to always happen, no? See, I don't feel like it makes sense to say, oh yeah, this is so much of a necessary struggle. We all have to learn to sit it down and not in so things thanks to these forced encounters with the world like that. Is it really the case? Is it really that much of a requirement? No, I don't feel like it is. Like, it has to be, okay? It is, right now, it is. But not like it has to always be. That's what I feel like. And that's what I feel is always a strange in the situation of, yeah, I'm trying to have this be the case, I'm trying to work on these things and whatnot, and in the end, I mean, I am still surrounded by these results that don't give me that much of an enjoyment. But it doesn't feel like it comes from a place of, oh yeah, and we all are accepting them. It's more along the lines of simply, I prefer to blame this external thing than to bring a change forward. And I don't know, okay, now it's okay, eternally present the notion of, but so much the critique itself of the problem doesn't get the problem to disappear. Yes, true, correct enough. Great assessment. What a cautious realization that, yeah, simply because I can say that something is bad doesn't make the occurrence of the thing itself disappear. Yes, true, so true. But what does happen, what does come through, is the reality of, at the very least, we do open up the possibility to saying that, yeah, this is the case. So many things feel like they are at all unspeakable of now. So much of the adult world. Okay, there is always no issue. Not so many, like 90% of the topics that you can have in a normal conversation. No, yeah, unavoidably not those. But so many of the subjects that do pertain to the common life of most, that you see, you have to deal with in your day-to-day existence. So many of those are what have that sensation of, doesn't really feel like we can do much, doesn't really feel like we can care about much, doesn't really feel like we should even try to possess a sense of interest in that at all. And that's what's in one way or another, strange. Because it does bring forward that sensation of, oh wow, it's so unimportant, therefore so meaningless, so clearly lack of any actual value, devoid of any actual sense of true of its own. I thought that the important guy or hero was gonna be a great idea, but I entirely forgot that it was one of the shocking guys. Like, I did it out of nature without realizing how bad of an idea it actually was. But well, can't we screw up in life? Okay. I'm going to farm because I want to fight whichever boss it is that comes forward so early without even one minimally good item. I have two at least, but they don't really feel that great so far, so. Yeah, anyways, I was saying, basically, and I don't know, it's so much of an adulthood having the sensation of, yeah, it is being dictated not by me, but these external forces being dictated by what happens outside and what I get to see and what I get to be not permitted to do and not allowed to work on and whatnot. And it's like the not issue, because it doesn't really feel like an issue, but the possibility of being a participant, a worker, so to speak, in the subjects that one does care about is as present anyways, but we just have almost no calling to it in itself. The person doesn't truly feel inclined to have some degree of participation in those things. It just so happens that so many of the trolls that exist right now are bad enough to entirely eliminate the individual factor from them, the point to which the conclusion is unavoidably that, yeah, therefore if we ourselves try to do anything about them, we gain nothing, because there is nothing to actually gain, there is nothing to ever try to do about them. To begin with, the person only lies to themselves when they try to bring forward some kind of change, some kind of mutation, some kind of anything, actually. So, the best thing, the better thing, is basically to avoid doing anything, working on anything, trying to make anything be. And well, not in acceptance of this, without even checking, I feel like unavoidably, if this is truly the case or not, just letting that sound right enough and renouncing the possibility of ever saying anything out that from our own perspective of, no, but you know, I actually do care. I actually do want to not let this happen. I actually do wish for some kind of minimal change, some kind of minimal difference, something else, something. I have hopes. I don't stand here and just nodding along and letting that be what lets me keep going with nothing else to worry about. No, I do possess my desires, aspirations, dreams, goals, all of that, and they do require a little bit of input from myself. Okay, I ghost. Probably the worst type of enemy to... Okay, true. The only issue is probably having to deal with even more of this. Okay, but it's not bad enough to be all that problematic, I feel like. We can win this one, probably. Probably. God knows if this is true or not. If I'm being overconfident. I like how they seem to have alternated actually all of their attacks to never let me have even a second of rest from their fucking targeters. You have no clue how funny that was. I don't know, I feel okay. I have to remember something and it costs quite a lot. Because not every single boss has that mechanic. But yeah, those guys can follow you around the whole arena, like the whole map. And I do forget about that most of the time. But, I mean, they and the Magna Worm do have the same quality, but it's just a faulty memory. You don't get it, you don't get it. Okay, it obviously isn't here, I guess. Okay, so it's on the other side, probably. Also, I have a question. If I throw myself off from here, do I die? No, good enough. Probably there is a modifier that I liked, and it was the enemies explode on that. I feel like it's one of the best modifiers because it increases the damage that everything takes. The only issue is it also can incredibly easily kill you yourself. So it's like playing with an incredibly dangerous fire. But at some point it probably is greater than just having to try over and over and over and over without any change whatsoever in the final outcome. I don't know, perhaps crazy, no? But yeah, anyways. Get again you? What? Why? Why you overloading, Magma man? Oh fuck. Yeah. This is... Wait. What happens? Do we want to? No, I don't want to enter run. I don't want to enter run. I am just rage quitting. I will try to change something. It will make no change whatsoever in the final result of the run, and I will be so... what's the reaction phase? Pokemon... what is it? Pikachu surprised face reaction. Wow, so amazing it will be to change something for the results to not be modified at all. Anyways. Yeah. What I was saying, basically. I don't know, I feel like it's just... In a way, so many things try to be out the elimination and the possibility of getting rid of annoyances in life and whatnot, yes? So how come it actually salts at a rate to never even attempt to change those very same things? Even more so in the modern world, so to speak. Not in ancient times where we were so forced to live along the lines because there was such a huge risk of being destroyed. It always is. True that did happen. Like, the past remains the past. You cannot change anymore what did occur, but it doesn't make the present be changed itself. The whole... to some degree, I also suddenly noted this isn't entirely honest. To some degree, yeah, it can very much still possess an influence as long as it remains active in our minds, in our memories. The possibility of saying that this happened allows us to also be reminded that this could very well happen again, or carry with us the eternal mark of what did occur at some point before, to justify the desire, the interest in making this be or not be anymore the case. But in itself, that doesn't fully dictate much more, that it doesn't fully define many other aspects. It just lets us remember. And I don't think that what I'm trying to say is it's necessary to forget. I don't think that that's the point. It's just like the slow changes in society are so slow themselves that maybe one day you can dream out the civilization that can get rid of so many useless rituals. But that won't happen probably right now at the pace that it should, basically. Oh my god, I'm dead? No. Actually, I'm out to kill these worms. I'm good. Watch me get killed for it. Yes. Ah, that's the beauty of the overloading. Magma worms. That they can inflict on you, like, probably a full hit of them can do like 300 damage or so. Also, can I actually get a good starting map? Is that too much to ask, my man? Can I not get any more an incredibly tiny area? I've been getting the same map. It's so much of a defining factor of a good or bad run. If the first map itself is tiny or not, how come I am getting... How many times? 5, 6 in a row? 7? This same small map. Does it actually matter? Perhaps not. But I don't know, at this point I'm trying to find some logic behind why. Okay, no. There is something to say. Probably. The most important factor that is shrines, for example, spawning. Gets a much lower estimate in itself, simply because there is no available land to spawn anything on, since the map is so tiny. And because that is the case, I don't know, Can I actually win that easily? I don't feel like it can happen that rapidly. I am good, but I am no goal to actually win without any modification. But who knows? Also, yeah, you see, this serves as an entirely perfect example. Why? What is the thing that I got here? One robot, one droid to activate, and nothing else for the entirety of this map? Really? That's all that I get to take with me. Besides that, okay, no, wait. This is like the most trash robot because it can die without ever regenerating, which is horrible basically, but it's a robot nonetheless, which increases the winning factor by a little bit. Or, I mean, unavoidably, if it doesn't get hit, it is incredibly strong. The issue is most enemies, even if they aren't in range, or the whole enemies aren't really clever, sadly, so it's not like they should be, unavoidably, but because they aren't, you're forced to deal with the consequences of their existence no matter what. And one of those is, yeah, they will shoot you. Even if you have a removed position, they will shoot where you think you were, or where they got to see that you were, basically. Even if that doesn't change the outcome. To the point to which, maybe that is bad enough. And maybe that does hurt not you, but your minion, your robot, so that's a great thing to see. But well, as long as it can kill, I don't know, 5 enemies, I'm happy. Okay, magma worm, amazing. It got almost insta-kill, by the way. The fuck happened there? No, don't kill me. Okay, thank you. Yeah. And it wasn't even the... It was the jellyfish on contact that killed me. For real? Dude, for real? You're being honest with me. Actually, the jellyfish was what killed me. Ay, man. It's... This game is so great. And I keep getting the fucking small map. Isn't it beautiful? No, wait, you know what? Actually, I don't want the small map anymore. Finally, the desolate forest. For once. Oh wow, we are so picky. Indeed, I start to get picky the moment in which I die 10 fucking thousand times. Maybe my opinion finally starts to get modified a little bit. Maybe I am not willing to die yet another 10 times unnecessarily, to waste so much of my efforts, so much of my energy on getting nothing. Why would I do that actually? Why would I be willing to sit here and just accept the defeat before I even get to begin? Simply because I noticed that the beginning area is trash. Oh wow. So amazing to know that it will be bad. Really? You think so? I am pretty sure not. Can you teleport to me? Murian, do I have to go for you? Ah, yeah. Such is life, I guess. But well, this is what we end up with. This is what we get to have. And it's good enough. Significant enough to not feel that well, I guess. Yeah. But I don't know, it's so difficult to actually be willing to say yes. I don't know, at this point I don't even understand if we can actually win or not. How hard it actually is to win. Like, there has to be some combination that guarantees success. But for me to properly understand it feels almost impossible, I feel like. And I don't know, I think I can probably devise something. I think I have somewhat of a strategy to try to follow. The only issue is we already started bad enough. This isn't even remotely what needs to be happening, for example, right now. It's not like they are entirely bad, but they are just not the right things. And that in itself already decides enough of everything else. Not that one cannot appreciate what is good, but if the point is not to have something good, but rather to have just the right things, then no matter how great other things look like, no matter how beautiful they are in the eyes of others, if they are still in themselves so meaningless for our actual purpose, then what's the point? Like, thank you so much for giving me the possibility of getting an item that won't make this happen. That doesn't ensure that, yeah, doesn't ensure that this goes in the right direction, sadly. Actually, this is horrible. Can you kill this enemy without me? No, you can't. Really? Can you kill it from here? No, either. Why? Why? Are you willing to tell me why? The fuck is going on? Oh, yeah. Just when you think that you're done, here it comes, a healing enemy to completely screw you up. But well, at least I didn't die against those big wisps, which previously entirely killed me, so slowly adapting, not entirely, but slowly enough to realize that there is progress, I guess, yeah. So, yeah, we have nothing actually. of substance to win. We can... Okay, wait. You can keep on trying, and I didn't really want to activate the boss, but since the fucking... Isn't that amazing? Isn't that great? Did you know that you can get forced to deal with the boss simply because the chest that you spawns in the worst position possible? Ah, yeah. Anyways. Entirely anyways. At this point I'm not even going to bother with resetting this. It is whatever it is. This map, in less than 10 minutes I have it entirely explored, but just for the sake of saying that I did try, we will explore it. Okay, actually this is right. This is one of the very few items, in this case bots, that it does play a huge role on winning. When the boss that appears isn't the good one. So, we will see. But meanwhile... Okay... Yeah, no, it doesn't really feel like it's going to be that much different. With only one bot on this very first layer, it's not looking great at all. We can... How much can the person alter their future simply because they choose to believe? How much can things be made better simply because we said, yeah, I remain hopeful about this thing? We can tell ourselves that it matters, but reality says otherwise, doesn't it? What we get shown, what we get to discover thanks to doing, demonstrates something else entirely. Something else much more capable of talking about what we do, what we get to have, than any of our innate desires, born out of being alive and nothing else. But it's better to wish than to not wish at all. It's better to hope than to not hope at all. Even if it kills you, it's necessary to say that hope remains existent. Illusion is necessary, entirely. For the world is already too dark without any of it. You get rid of it now, so yeah. Today we shall say that it is important enough, even if in the end it isn't. Even if in the end the person understands that what they are saying is a lie, even if all of that remains the same, hope is much better than anything else, so... Okay. I only have 2 items so far. Can I get at least a tiered one? And the question is, okay, I get a tiered one. What do I actually get with the tiered one? What do I actually unlock on the tiered item? something important enough to change the situation entirely? Can something of that substance, of that importance, be given to me? No, right? What a great enemy. What an incredibly great enemy. Ay, ay, ay. Exactly what I was needing. More wisps. Can you stop teleporting on top of me, man? Okay. There we go. So many tries to find the same thing in the end. At some point, hope can only be lost. I have to guarantee. Cannot say that it can remain. Cannot lie and make it look like it. It is still a terror. What changes is the person. What changes is what one does out of the pain in itself. No, what? What if that's never mattered at all? Okay, this is perhaps the worst. And yes, I give up, man. You can kill me here. You can kill me at all. Doesn't matter. Against an overloading bear and squid, there's not much that I can actually do. I can wish for the infinity and beyond that. What I get out of doing is a wish. Not exactly that. Not at all exactly that. So, when does wishing stop being the important part of this? When does hoping abandon or eyes to regard obstacle of progress? When does desire stop being called so much the fundamental aspect? This equation doesn't get solved because of it. If appearances remain still the same, despite all that we do about it. Okay, here we have the teleporter. Great enough. Also, I cannot reach here? Wow. I think I literally just need one setback. And I will be getting order. But anyways. Not exactly where I wanted to land. But doesn't matter. This guy spawned so many missiles, what the fuck? Amazing. Okay, I only have one more place to go. Literally nothing here so far. You see what I say? It's... I don't know, at this point, nothing seems to make any sense whatsoever. Nothing seems to represent an important thing, reward, quality, or useful presence, anything at all anymore like that. All just these, and what gets to be might as well not satisfy me anymore. Why? Let that be the case, then continuing lies there for on something else, on something more related to what we satisfy once we get to obtain the desired goal. But how to know if any goal is so important to deserve all those hours? How to measure that in any realistic manner? Responsible, no? Is it even responsible to wish for anything to begin with? If we have to give so much of ourselves in doing so, then how can we say that it is nice at all to wish? Ay, ay, ay. It seems like perhaps it can be okay. Main difference. We have 3 watts. Is that enough? Probably not. Almost entirely probably not. But one has to wish for that and much more, otherwise the obtained result won't be any good. Yeah. 3 watts might make a difference, might show something else, might create the impact that one is looking for. Even if they are only 3, even if they are that tiny and that small, even then, sometimes even from the least expected of places change comes. Okay. Literally the worst enemy I am, but we're willing to take that. Oh my god. Okay, I'm there, probably. No? No? Yes. You die in a hilarious pose. Indeed. Why is this so hard, man? How can a challenge be so absolutely complicated? Wait. You know what? We will check after I lose this next one. At this point, to win is only an illusion created by the mind. There are things that make wishes never attain all. There are things that guarantee that what we are hoping for never comes true. Maybe this is one of those cases. Maybe doing things like this makes it that we get what we want. But that is freeing because the realization comes of then some changes are required, isn't it? Some other modification is bound so that at that point we can finally get what we want, no? If this cannot be what I want, if this cannot give me what I hope for, then I have to do something else. My god! This is torture from Very beginning to the very end. How many tries? Almost 20 extra tries so far. I have no clue. Just activating the spite thing change anything? And you know what? Playing with this character will be win. Instant win, by the way. But we shall not play this character. Yeah. Such is the world, such are the things that we see. Such is all of this. But we are here to accept it, not to fight against any of it. So, let it be whatever it has to be. Once success comes, once we are freed from the weight of desiring for something so hard to obtain, then it also comes to liberation of the spirit, the realization that things can be achieved. And you know what's the best? This isn't even the... I think that every single Risk of Rain game has that thing that like forces you to activate all. If you want to complete 100% the game, you basically have to play with all the active modifiers on one run and win it. So thank God this is not one of those runs, because otherwise this will be even more maddening. Like it will, okay, no, to some degree I actually think it would make much more sense if that was the case. But also, isn't there like one modifier that makes you and enemies have much less health and do much more damage? Why do I not have that? Or am I already playing with that? That will explain some things actually. But literally nothing. A map. Okay, no, okay. It has one droid, which I had to ignore basically, because I don't have enough cash yet. Now I do, but at the moment of having seen it, I didn't. But besides that, nothing else really. Entire fields of nothing. God, why is life so hard sometimes? Why is this world so empty for everything that I ever wanted? Why is nothing that I desire forever present on what I encounter out there? Why are the things that I see so much full of nothing they themselves too? What went on that it is the case now, and will seem to truly be fine with the thought being such. I hope to 10 different enemies spawning all one next to each other. Okay, there we go. have one item. Can I get another one, please? For fighting the boss? Or am I going to be forced to fight the boss just like this? With nothing in my hands, nothing in my name, nothing to show. Just my very bare existence. Without any other added flavor. Without any other added weight to it. Without anything else but it in itself being. No way! Consider lowering the difficulty, so real for that. Artifacts. Only enemies. Look at random skill. Enemies explode. Monsters spawn. Chests. Items. Enemies. Is it there a modifier that makes you have like 12 HP or so? Or am I going actually crazy, man? I don't know. I don't know anymore. I don't. Doesn't make any sense. I'm back. Sing it, man. Can I win? Can I get one good run? Can I beg you, give me one good run. Is it too much to ask to say that I want to win? Is it too selfish of me to beg you to have something great finally be given? Ah. But there are no good runs, there are no bad runs, there are only runs, there are only good players and bad players. I tell myself, because I don't want to accept that I am not being given what I needed to win. Why have you abandoned me, dear God? Why have you chosen to not give me anything to win this time around? But well, it is what it is, I guess. It's amazing to see so much nothingness. Maps filled entirely with nothing. Absolutely filled with nothing. I like how this. What the fuck? Why did that guy teleport like 3 times on top of me? But yeah, I was trying to say. I like how this game, for some reason, chooses sometimes to have entirely empty places. Like, I don't know. Is it too much to ask to have like a guaranteed amount of spawns each map? Probably. Oh no, yeah, but that being a fixed number, that makes each run much less unenjoyable. No, man, you don't get it. You make it fair. You make it fair. I don't have to explore the entire map to find out that I was given one tiny bot to fight the fucking boss. I don't have to go to the heartbreak of realizing that I have nothing to handle what's the upcoming challenge thrown at me. I can live easily knowing that, yeah, you do your part and you get a tiny reward called guaranteed encountered items. Okay, at the very least, this is the easy boss. So this first area is done. Holy, I actually almost killed myself there. Anyways, there we go. Oh, yeah. Great enough, I guess. Does Stitch make anything else different? Not much, really. Not very much. It is still as hard. All the other places might as well have nothing on them to actually make me feel like I can win anyway, so... It's all over anyways. At least we move from this screen, from these same levels that I haven't stuck in for the last half hour or so. Why is this game so hard sometimes, actually? What happened with the fun and interesting challenge of playing a Risk of Rain? And knowing that maybe you can die, but not a guaranteed death. What do you mean? I don't even get a guaranteed something to not be struggling so hard. But well. Don't we like challenges? Don't we put ourselves through the task of surviving so many difficult things? This is the very same thing. This is an exemplary aspect of life. Rather, so there is nothing to truly complain about, is there? Isn't this much of a satisfaction, something to be proud of? Isn't this much of a gain? You want something challenging? There you go. You have a challenge here. Now you're going to say that it is bad. Now you're going to say that it isn't worth it. Why did you want to have a challenge in the very first place then? If you couldn't handle anything. The person doesn't want challenges, the person just dreams for some sort of much simpler, much emptier, much more basic existence. Something that looks challenging, but really it's no challenge at all. There is a machine over there that I cannot even activate. And you know what's the best? I cannot even stay here to activate the what? Because for some random reason, they decided that you cannot do that. Why did they say, yeah, you know what? You cannot fight enemies in an enclosed area with your robots. You have to fight them yourself. Thank you so much for that. You were so real for that. Okay, here we have the teleporter. Watch me not being capable of activating it at all. Is there any one boss? I think the only... Oh my god. That was an incredibly... Yeah, no, it wasn't a close call actually. It was a death. Why keep going, man? Wait. Why? What's the speech? What's the point? Why exactly do you keep going? You know that nothing is going to change. Why keep trying? Why wake up yet another day and tell yourself that this is what you should be doing? Why attempt anything like this at all? Why not simply call it a day and quit and give up and do something else and let TV be in the past? Why torment yourself like that? What is there to actually gain? You won't ever get it. You won't ever grasp why it's necessary. You don't have the capacity to see it. Some challenges are required for a good enough life. Some things need to be done, even if they feel impossible to achieve. Some things need to be encountered. Sometimes fate. Risk of rain returns? Indeed. This is such a kino game. Have you ever played? You should make a run with the next modifiers. No random items. All enemies are elite. And play as the chef. You love the poison lizard, man? It's... I haven't actually played the character. I was gonna say, no, it's such a great character. I haven't even used to. I have no clue. I have no clue how it plays, actually. I think I have played like 3 or 4 of them. We can probably check that later on. Don't worry. You're going to see me die at some point. It's so funny. It's so funny. Oh, my magical tear die. Anticipate that I'm going to lose at some point. And it's going to be so... At that point, we're going to be capable of going and seeing. Yeah, I played like with at the most 6 of the available characters. I don't think we have all of them unlocked to begin with, so yeah. I have the lizard guy unlocked, like the poison one. Almost 100% bonus moves. The secret character? Secret character? Why do people call him or the character secret character? Why don't they call it the name? What's up with that? It's like a major spoiler. You look like from Risk of Rain returns. So you cannot say, oh yeah, their name is... But no, I have, from the characters that I do play, I have almost everything probably. Or, well, I don't know, I don't really know. I carry the secret character because you need to do the whole process that you will not normally do in order to get them. And you will know how this process if you didn't look it up. Understandable. Makes sense. Here we are. Simply, what's the current concept? I found something that seems either impossible or I am just too bad at the video myself. But yeah, it's with the game conditions that I said. It's like a miniature version of the Fittest Survivor. Amazing! I actually have no clue what the secret character is then. Good enough, good enough. But yeah, we are playing with the chef. I want to win a run with this guy in soon difficulty. Is it? I think it's way too hard actually. After having died probably 50 times trying to do this, I can conclude that this is impossible. This is unfair to begin with, so yeah. I don't know, how to get the secret character? Don't worry about it. We are... If you go to the very beginning, you will see that I haven't tried the same thing since I started, so today we're not doing any kind of unlock. We're just trying to do my personal challenge of trying to win with these conditions of, yeah, once again, you deal 100% damage, because otherwise you will take too long to kill elites. I am not going to play with 100% damage. I am already losing it with things being like this, so I wouldn't play with 100% only damage, so yeah. 200% damage dealt, 100% damage taken, and all enemies are elite. What else? No random stuff. What else? There is another modifier. No, I don't remember. I don't know. But yeah, point was, that's all that has been happening. And I have been struggling to actually finish this. So yeah, no, don't worry about it. Another day. Trademark. What I want to do it. For now, it's just me struggling to win. But it's better a hell of our own making than no hell at all. Not really, but you quote unquote get what I mean. Also, I like 6 minutes and so far no item whatsoever. Amazing! Absolutely amazing! How many enemies have I already killed? Like 50? No item? Understandable, yes. Okay, I guess I will have to fight the boss without any item whatsoever. Why would I ever need any item to win? Because certainly this character is the most overpowered one. Yeah. I feel like this game is overrated. No, this isn't overrated, it's just me. Sorry. It's things got tougher than what I ever expect. Amazing. Finally, first item after 7 minutes of being on the first stage. Good enough. Great enough. Give me this. Okay, yeah, I finally remember. Una orderly as you saw, no enemies don't drop. Okay, there are no cases around, but rather the enemies themselves drop the cases. That's, I don't know, I feel like on a orderly that is a much better approach at the end. I feel like, yeah, it's fun when you can skip encounters, even if you can choose the items themselves. To skip encounters is quite negative. What do we get to fight? Overloading magma worms, 2 of them even. So great. But yeah, I was saying basically that. And I don't know, I don't really feel like the normal loot boxes, not really loot boxes, but boxes system is all that great. I feel like it benefits more from the player. Anyways, no, I am there. Yes. Oh my god. Anyways, back to menu. What was I here trying to show? What did I say? Something about? What was it? Secret character? 100% evolution moves. All the characters. Okay. Stats. I have played only with 6 characters and like 3 runs with one here. Probably I forgot that I have, for some reason, I haven't figured out yet why I have such a low quality on YouTube. Because on Twitch it is like 720p. So I don't even know why it is so low on YouTube. But 3 rounds with the Ranger, I guess, 11 with the Hunters, 21 with the kinda holy moly, I don't know the names. What are you? You. With the Bandit. There we go. 5 with the Loader, 87, which have been so far, none of them won, I think, with the Chef, and 4 with who? Who's the green guy? With the Pilot. Yeah, with the Pilot. The Pilot is absolutely broken, actually. But yeah, that has been what has been happening so far. Sacrifice? What if I don't play anymore with Sacrifice? I feel like Sacrifice is actually hurting my progress. It's taking into consideration how longer it is taking to actually win. Yeah. But that will make it easier. You get it. That will make me have an excuse to avoid fighting enemies. Anyways, the point is to continue the touch, I guess. So fun. What is it? The whole meme. How do you inflict on yourself type 3 fun? This is exactly the type 3 fun. Nothing better than that. Anyways, I don't know, I think I have to be honest as well that I want this has to become like a yearly tradition of me deciding to, for no reason whatsoever, do this get in and remembering how strongly it makes me feel to try this at all, but doing it just to remember how it feels. Do something so incredibly hard. But it's better than nothing anyways. Anyways. Didn't I say I wanted to stream 10? Okay, stream this. But well. So far when I have one bot, and it doesn't really look that great, something tells me. I think that a huge factor in great runs is getting 2 healing bots. But again, there is nothing that guarantees that from happening, so just rolling first place, first world until that gets to occur. So great, so beautiful, so magnificent. But we are in these worlds, dude. Sometimes the things that for others might seem unreasonable, and that's what makes us so special sometimes. The willingness to try is what fills the heart with contempt. Knowing that it can finally occur simply because the stubbornness of the human being remains first makes all of it much greater, much more significant. Otherwise it loses its flavor. Its savoriness, it's everything. Okay, have 2 items. This is rare enough, taking into consideration that the last run was minute 6. No, minute 7 actually, without any item. Yeah, this looks better. But no, this journey was also about learning to forgive myself. Because I have yet to get over the fact that I died when I had the hit list. And I got yet another red item and I couldn't pick it up. Oh, yeah. It's such a video game. It is hard to let go of the past, but it is hard to look only to the future. No, man. Can you can you die for the love of God? Or at least not annoy me. Okay, wait. Go away. No. Exactly what I know. Yes. Here we are. Do you want to teleport over here, man? No? Okay, thank you. At the very least, I can deal with the guy like that. It's fine. Try again. That's the point. No, time to process. I think, what is the Minecraft mode that is great for getting over the mistakes? The one mod that removes the dead screen. We need that here. We need. Somebody needs to make that exist on Risk of Rain too, because having to realize that it's over is far harder than getting to continue without moments, reflection into what happened. I want to fail, never realize that I just want to keep going. Even if in a different universe, in a different reality, with different conditions. It's better than to confront those, isn't it? Yeah, no, I'm losing it, man. I'm losing it. This is way too hard. This is absurdly hard, actually. I didn't even say, yeah, we're going to do this because it is hard. There is something so funny about what you choose. And this sudden realization that, yeah, this is far more complicated than what I ever expected. So. But, at the very least it is, so. Yeah. Wow. So amazing for that. Also, holy. Great enough. What did I think about it? I think one of the many mistakes, yeah, I don't know. I always feel uncomfortable by having it, like, it's such an easy cheat, but at the same time, it's so hard to actually prioritize it. Getting double seems to be so important, like, vertical movement is overpowered simply because so many enemies rely on you being on the ground to actually hit you. Not all of them. Like, probably 60% of the enemies require you to be exactly on the ground, all the other ones don't. But the problem is, those that do, let's say 60, perhaps 70 later on, or including the later on enemies. 60% of those make it, oh my god, I am dead. I am dead. I love so much my Can you not hit me? No, you can't not hit me. Because even if you don't hit me, the electricity from your attacks hit me. It's so amazing. It's a guaranteed death, basically. I love this enemy so much. I love you so much, overloading wandering vagrant. Can we go up today? No. It's too early to give up. It's too early to give up today. No, we cannot do that. We cannot do that. It's too early. It's too early. I need a second. I need a second. I need a break. What is missing for the formula? What is necessary to actually accomplish what you dream? What is that one piece that changes everything? What is that ignored factor that could bring so much change forward? I have a question actually. I am willing to. Let me check something on the wiki. Game rules. We can play? No, that's like absolutely broken. We can play with damage taken 10%. That is literally cheating actually. No, like, unavoidably, how do you win? We play with damage taken 10%. Amazing. Out of nowhere, I have 10 times more HP than I do right now. Incredibly, no? But doing so would be bad. So yeah, I would not do it. But I don't know, man. I feel like it's impossible. I feel like it won't work, man. It won't. One more run. One final run for today. And after that I am done. If it doesn't work today, I am done for today. It's not that we don't want to do things, yes. Just that doing so is complicated. Once you realize what it is at a risk by doing so, you grasp the reality that, yeah, hoping can be not so useful. But even so, it is still necessary. Even so, still, it remains a necessity. A part that has to be present in life, no? We can't not hope. We shall say that it is it. Even if it doesn't look like that. But still, there was never a good answer to the question, how many times can you fail before you realize that it is unattainable? How many more times do we need to be served a bad food to admit that it is bad? We're a little dry, anyways. I like how so far I have gotten no bot. One bot, good. Give me a second one, and perhaps this looks like a great run. Okay, this could be it. Could. It isn't guaranteed to be it, but could be it. Okay, yeah, we can only rely on these votes to win, so... These votes plus the operates, and... I don't really think I will get that many anyway, so... I don't trust like that, I guess. I have... Holy... What a fire enemy. I want to teleport directly on top of you. Almost insta hits you. But better than an enemy that runs away from you and doesn't even want to confront you. At least. Okay. Have to farm. Only through farming shall get what we want. I never even look at the level. I don't know, there is probably an appropriate level to fight the bosses and whatnot. And I never look at that. Okay, this is much greater than what I ever anticipated. I just need to not die. Isn't that so easy? No, no, no. Stats and high scores. Rank history for today of today. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 22 runs. Did any of them go that well? Not really. But at least we try. It cannot be said that we didn't try. Which one looked great? This one? Not really. None of them looked that great. None of them looked that great, actually. But well, enough for today. Maybe tomorrow. Tomorrow we win for sure. Tomorrow it goes alright. Satisfaction is inbound. One just has to keep trying, and the problem is, it's hard to be willing to do that. Because the realization always is, maybe even if I try, it might not go all that great, all that well. But trying is so important. And the problem is, one doesn't really realize the necessity of doing so. But yes, it's good enough. It was great enough anyways, so yeah. Thank you for everything today, yes. And as always, take care. And even if we don't get to see ourselves next time, remember to stay safe at the very least, yeah. But that's it for today. Bye.